Hey everybody, it's Trish Jones, and today I want to talk about how you can cash in on your passion. Yesterday I talked about how you find your passion, and basically how most people, what they want to do is find the point rather than seeing your passion like an horizon. So it starts off wide and then later on you can come and start narrowing in. And basically when you don't understand that concept of actually finding your passion, what people tend to do is do nothing, and so they get stuck and they won't move because they're like deer in headlamps. I don't know what the one passion is. But today I want to talk about, once you actually find your passion, how, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, or even if you work in a corporation and you want to ensure that you never do another job that you hate in your life, or if you never want to work for somebody else, that you are able to work for yourself and be your own boss. I want to show you how you're able to do that, either to create a full-time income, or if you want to create an extra income whilst you're working for another company. And it's quite simple, really. I use something called WordPress, and WordPress is a content management system, and WordPress essentially is a platform that enables you to broadcast your message, and you can use a variety of media in order to broadcast that message. You can use audio, you can use articles, you can use video. What else can you use? Well, I suppose it's writing text or audio that you can put on there. You can also link up WordPress with your social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, you name them. You can link them up from there. But the reason I actually like using WordPress, and why, even though a lot of other people will say, oh well, why can't I just use Facebook, or why can't I just use YouTube, or why can't I just use Twitter? The whole purpose is none of those platforms actually belong to you. And by the way, I'm talking about WordPress.org, which I will explain the difference shortly. But YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they don't belong to you. If you violate their terms of service in any way, they can just click a delete button and you are gone. You don't exist. All of your content that was up there that may have been getting you popularity, you are not even popular anymore. You don't even exist. So that's one of the reasons why, even if you use those platforms, which I 100% recommend that you do, you need to have a home base. Otherwise you're like, as my daughter has taught me a new term lately, hobo, which we don't use that term in the US. It means that you have no home. Okay, you'll just kind of walk about and sleep wherever you can find somewhere to sleep. But you don't want to be a hobo in business. You need to have a place that you call your own. And WordPress is easy enough to install. It is easy enough to manage. If you know how to use a word processor, then you'll be able to use WordPress. Now, I said to you that there is a difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. The difference is WordPress.com is what we call a hosted solution. You go to WordPress.com and they ask you to create a username and a password and some other information, and within minutes you have a blog that you can go and put content on. On the other hand, WordPress.org, you need to go to WordPress.org, download the software and upload it to your own server, which you can get from somewhere like HostGator or Bluehost. And so you need three things to get started. You need your domain name, you need a hosting account with someone like Bluehost or HostGator. I highly recommend Bluehost, by the way. And you also need to have the software from WordPress.org. Now, what is the difference? The difference is that the content that you own when you put it up on WordPress using WordPress.org, the software, I should say, that you download from WordPress.org, belongs to you. WordPress.com is no different really to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, in that you don't own it. So if you violate their terms of service, you do something that's wrong, they will click the delete button and you are gone forever. The other thing is, WordPress.com do not like you monetizing. They do not like you making money with your blog. So you can't advertise, you can't tell people come and buy my product, etc., because the minute they do that, the minute you do that, they are there and they will click the delete button. And please don't say nobody will find out, because they will. And years ago, I don't know whether he's still about it, but there was someone called Rainmaker, and Rainmaker made it his business to go around looking for sites, WordPress.com platforms or WordPress.com accounts that were selling services or promoting their business via WordPress.com, and he would immediately go back to WordPress.com and effectively, as we would say, grass you up. Yeah, he'd tell on you, and so your account would be deleted, and there are no questions, and they're not giving you your content back because in essence they own that content. Facebook own the content that you put up on your Facebook site. So as I say to the young people, be careful what you put up on Facebook. You know, it's not a place to air all of your dirty linen, and particularly if you're in business, you know, you don't want that kind of thing. You have to remember that what is on Facebook can be tracked back to I don't know how many years. You know, if we're 50 years down the line, they can go back and see that information. It belongs, effectively, it belongs to them. So when you have a WordPress site that you have installed the software using WordPress.org, that you have put it on your own domain and on a hosted account that you've purchased some hosting space from a company such as HostGator and Bluehost. You own that, and so now you can put your videos, your audio, your articles up, telling people what you're passionate about, helping them to solve a problem with the passion that you have. So I was actually amazed the other day. I watched a video of a lady who did knitting. Now, I do know how to knit, I confess. Trish knows how to knit. I actually learnt when I was a child. I was raised with my grandmother, and she was very much into knitting. And in fact, when I was 10, I'm so proud of this, when I was 10, I actually knitted my own jumper. I didn't sew it together, my grandmother did that, but I did the arms and the body, and I remember actually had these little sheep going around the top. So, you know, it wasn't just an easy jumper, it was actually quite complicated, and I sported it going to school in my jumper. But I thought knitting was dead, okay? But there is a lady online who makes a killing from actually knitting, and she shows you different stitches, and she uses video to actually show you what the finished article will look like. She's passionate about knitting, and so if you can think of anything that would just be, you know, well, some of you listening, watching might think, well, you know, Trish, there's nothing wrong with knitting. There isn't, but if you had told me that you could make money from that passion of knitting, I would have kind of looked at you and said, I don't know. But as long as you have a solution to somebody else's problem and you're passionate about that particular area, you can cash in on your passion. And so if you want to know more, first thing I would recommend is if you go to trishjones.com. I actually do some articles and videos on there about WordPress in particular, and also how to create a business online or to cash in on your passion. The other thing that you want to do, go and check out WordPress.org. Go and read the information for yourself. It will show you generally how to put up a site, how to put up a blog, as it were. But don't think of WordPress as just a blogging platform. You know, it's not a platform where today I had steak for dinner, I had, you know, sorbet for lunch. I hope you didn't have sorbet for lunch, that's terrible. Yeah, dessert maybe, but even then terrible. But you know, it's not a place for you to talk about just your generalities that you did during the day. It is a serious piece of business software, I believe. And when WordPress first emerged, I know that people just saw it as, you know, a piece of software for kids to talk about what they did at college, or mums to, you know, have a conversation, a rant about, you know, what the kids were up to. It was effectively an online journal. It is no longer that. Don't think of it as an online journal. Big, huge corporations use WordPress, are using WordPress. WordPress has become, you know, if I was doing this video 3-4 years ago, when I first started doing WordPress, I would have said, well, 5 years ago actually, I would have said WordPress will become mainstream. That is no longer the case. WordPress has become mainstream, and huge organizations are actually using WordPress to build their sites. And let me give you a quick example. I live in Bristol in the UK, and our local government had a big massive site, and anyway they decided that they wanted to change their website, and so they hired somebody, and I didn't know until afterwards, otherwise I'm telling you I would have bid for that project. They hired somebody to rebuild the front end of their site, and they are using WordPress and a theme that I use called Studio Press. It's based on something called the Genesis platform. If you go to my site, you'll find out more about it. But they use that software, and they paid £80,000. Okay, UK pounds, not dollars, proper money. Keep saying that. This, you guys in America know I love you. I'm only kidding when I say that. But they paid 80,000 UK pounds to actually get this site built. So when I say to you that this is serious software, that WordPress isn't just for kids, it isn't just for people who want to blog, you can do so much with WordPress today. And so if you want to cash in on your passion, the first thing I would recommend is that you get yourself a domain name, get yourself a hosting account, and then go and download the software from wordpress.org, upload it to your server, and start writing about the things that you're passionate about. Don't get too wrapped up in the graphic and it's got to look pretty, it's got to look like this. It's going to take a short while, and I say a short while compared to HTML site, to start getting people interested and start getting traffic to your site. So don't spend your time worrying about, oh my gosh, this has to look pretty, this has to be so perfect. I made that mistake. If you're watching my videos now, you'll see I have a little bit of makeup on. In fact, actually, maybe I should have put a little bit more on, but I haven't. I would have dressed up to the nines. I would have had the lighting to make sure that it was absolutely perfect. And as Gary Vaynerchuk says, who has made taken his father's business to $60 million, he doesn't worry. He just gets in front of the video. So one of the other videos I'm going to do is the difference between perfectionism and excellence, okay? So I'm not going to go into it now, but what I will say to you is don't be a perfectionist. Get that site up, get on and write, start making some money, and then once you actually have some money, you can start prettying it up a bit. However, I am going to say this: if you are a business owner and you're serious and you're selling a service, you're in consulting, coaching or whatever, you do need to do a little bit more than the minimum. It is not enough for you to just put up a site and it looks horrible and expect that people are going to take you seriously. You need to be taken seriously. But hey, if you love cooking, put up a basic looking blog, put your recipes up there, start attracting people to your site, and you'll be amazed at how quickly people will start coming and asking you for your recipes. You can then put those recipes in a book and sell that ebook, and there are a myriad of ways that you can actually make money. So I want you to subscribe to my videos, because I'll be putting up videos practically every day. I'm not saying every single day, but practically every day I'll be putting up new videos similar to this, giving you tips on how to cash in on your passion. So go and subscribe, and if you want some more information, you can go over to trishjones.com. Okay, ciao ciao.